Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you want to get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.
Parenting, honor roll kids. What worked and what didn't work. Talk to you in a minute.
Let's talk about love and marriage the way that God intended. Life experience, here we share it. The Fruit Podcast. Tune in from any platform. Fruit Podcast. Will help your spirit transform.
Hey y'all, so we're gonna talk about parenting our kids, what worked and what didn't work. Because and I'm bringing this up because our honor roll kids as adults think they smarter than us. And so just I gotta be like, was I like that? Was I like that then? Did I feel like I knew everything? But sometimes they do. They think they have the answers. And so I have to say that, they did have moments, in school where, hey, y'all, like, keep it going. Let's rock out. Y'all can strive to be better or whatever it is. But there are some things in that space that worked for one child that didn't work for the other. And all I was able to do, or what I was doing, was give what I was given as a kid. And so there was a level of expectation, just like for me. Hey, you know what? If I was a straight A student, you could be a straight A student too. If I could learn how to do times tables, right? Division, long division, you should be able to do the same thing, right? Well, here's the problem with that. What didn't work was I wasn't up to date on how to do this new math. I wasn't keen to the new trendy way of learning.
They weren't using times tables.
Again, I wasn't up to the trends.
They weren't doing long division.
No, they were. I don't know what they were doing picture graphs. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what pictographs. I'm sorry.
And for the first, at least 4 years of their education, yes, I would say up through fourth grade, they didn't get letter grades.
And that, used to bother the bejesus out of me.
He tried to fight the whole school system down.
Oh, yeah. I was like, yo, we need letters.
What does this number mean?
Right, because...
And then it's like, we can't give above a 2 because, proficiency doesn't come until June. Well, they can't be proficient during this marking period? No.
And here's the thing. How do I know where they are in school. Like, so if you're gonna give them a 2, is a 2 a B, a C, or a D? Like, what is it? Because I don't want it to be a D, and then you give him a 1, and now he got to repeat the whole grade. Like, yo, like, can you please?
It means they meet standards. That's what it meant.
Yeah, but standard could be a B, a C, or a D. It doesn't matter.
It's a standard. They met status
They
quo.
they ain't meet my standard.
They met status quo. But
Yeah.
they couldn't have a 3 because you didn't get 3s until the final marking period.
Unless you were just extraordinary. Because, I mean, one kid got some 3s every now and then.
Oh, I don't know what other people got.
I'm talking about our kids.
I remember that maybe it was a 3 in gym.
I mean, it was some
It wasn't a
3s
3
every now and then.
it wasn't a 3 in the normal.
Yeah, but I was hot. I didn't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, that was one thing that we were not prepared for the
Not at
first
all.
4 years of their marking periods. So 5 and 6, I think grades 5, and I think it switched over maybe 5th and 6th grade.
But to me, that was like, yo, like, why are you pushing them through? Like, if I had so many negative things to say.
But even with that, there was no honor roll. There was nothing.
Right.
You got student of the month.
Yeah, but sometimes that was bias
Yeah, but so
because it wasn't my kid.
No,
Even though my kids did get some.
they always got student of the month.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you got student of the month in October. You only been here for 2 months.
Right.
You haven't gotten a chance to see the real child yet.
Right. They just warming up.
They still can be good and respectful. Wait a little while. We'll see how good.
Especially one child, like, he was like on, I'm not going to say it like this, but what's the phrase right now? Demon time?
Oh.
Yeah. Like some people, I'm not claiming that. You get what I mean? But yeah, he has some challenges. He has some real challenges.
And some of those challenges, were external, the way that the class was run. But anyway, so honor roll students, I think honor roll came along in high school. I don't think we had honor roll in middle school. Do you recall? Oh, no, maybe we did. We did because we had the whole thing going on in middle school, I believe. So the Junior Honor Society was in middle school. So, yeah, we had it.
Yeah, I mean, so I have to say that so they were okay.
And
they were okay.
Yeah, they were okay. I mean, they captured the book smarts, and they were able to adjust to the academic lifestyle.
But I want you, but listen to what we're just saying, right? They were okay. But if in other cases, if you were in junior honor society and honor society in high school, right? One kid got it twice in high school. So were they just okay or were they above average? And did we not celebrate it enough? What you think?
Did we celebrate their academic accomplishments enough?
Yeah, like, did we push way too much? This is where we're talking about, did it work or didn't it work? Because did we not push enough? I'm sorry, did we push way too much to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, you got honor society, but you could have been valedictorian or something like that. You get what I mean?
From me, I don't think I pushed that. I don't think I pushed, hey, get all A's. Like you said, you came from your background of, get all A's, be on honor society, or honor roll. I was on honor society in high school. And I guess that you had to be on honor roll. I don't know how that, it was some crazy formula that they had in my high school because we had another school with weird grading system. They kind of combined college of credit, the credit system, and grades. So you didn't necessarily get A, B, C, D report cards. You got a report card of how many credits you had each term or whatever. I don't recall, but anyway, the main thing was how many credits you had. That was the going talk. Some people had enough credits; they can complete high school in 3 years, so forth and so on. So, but in order to get on honor roll, you had to have a certain amount of credits and perform well in the PSAT and the SAT. So I did well and won in both of those. So I ended up in honor society. So for our kids, I encouraged education. I also encouraged out of the classroom activities. So I felt as though, like, you can do both. The kids were active in both, but a lot of their friends and things that they were interested in were along the academic lines. And as my husband would say, some of the information was, what did you call it? Pointless information? No, I can't remember what you called it.
Useless information.
Useless information. That's what it was. Because I don't know, just the information they would come and be so excited about. So I think that might have been some of the disconnect, I think, happened when they were in elementary school and the way they were learning how to do math problems, how to formulate paragraphs. Like, all of that stuff was like, where are they getting this from? Like, the teachers are our age. However, you're not learning how to create a true sentence and how to do a book report. What do you mean you don't do book reports? You're in the 5th grade. Everybody does book reports in the 4th grade, the 5th grade. What are you doing? Oh, we just have to draw a picture about the book. Who the heck draws pictures? You in what grade? Why are you drawing?
Yep. Yeah, so that part was trying to celebrate or look at our kids and their academic success, and we're like, huh?
What kind of school do you go to? Like,
and your book report, really the report is already done on this worksheet. Y'all just gotta fill in little keywords in a space. Like, what is that?
So we had to go, and I remember this one year we had to get like a poster board so they could draw a picture about the book that they read. And as Maurice said, they received a worksheet that they had to write, a few sentences next to each prompt or each question, and they had to glue that to the back of the poster. Another year they had to do a diorama. I'm like, okay, I understand you're trying to show different ways to learn and express yourself and whatever, but you still got to read and write.
But see, I think the challenge is, because again, later on, I'm going to be honest with y'all, when they went to college, that transition to college was a beast.
Right.
Because they didn't do the work in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I think that's part of the challenge of, hey, even though they were able to excel from that school system's perspective, but by the time they got to college, it's like, oh no, y'all still dumb.
Right. I don't recall. I know one didn't take the SAT. Did both of them take? Did the older one take it?
No. It was a.
I know she took the ACT.
No, she took it. She took it more than once.
Okay.
Because she went to the rival high school. Remember?
Oh yes. Yeah,
she took it more than once.
Okay, but the second one did.
He didn't have to because of the pandemic.
Right, and I think hindsight, I wish they would have, because maybe that would have helped us make a better decision on whether or not, college was the right thing or whatever. So,
but see, here's the thing though. I think one was trying very hard and was putting a lot of pressure on herself. The other one, if he did have to take it, I think he would have been okay. But he has this really nonchalant, however things falls mentality, so he probably would have gotten way better than he had even anticipated.
Mm-hmm.
Or it would have been, because I had his I don't care nonchalant attitude, he was like, he would have been just gotten credit for his name.
Right.
Like, you get what I mean? So, but we like Kafi said, though, we don't know because he didn't take it. But how do you celebrate Because that's really what this episode should be about. Is like, how, what worked and what didn't work. Like, we weren't, and I'm using the word celebrate because I think on some cases I wanted to celebrate and be excited for them for what they did accomplish. But then there's another part of me that's like, y'all did not going to cut it. And I think some of that
when they were in
showed.
elementary school, you did celebrate, like, hey, they went to Toys R Us when they got their report cards, and were able to buy a toy. But again, like, what are we celebrating? You got a 2, and that's what everybody got, 2s.
Right. Two.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe you got a 3 because you had great behavior, or you got a 1 because you misbehaved. All right, let's address that.
And that was the other thing too. Like, how you have 2s and no, they did give 3s because he had 2s and 3s, but was getting 1s in behaviors. I'm like, how in the world you get a 3, but get a 1 in behavior? Like, that doesn't normally, bad behavior don't go with good grades, right? But the other challenge is that, hey, is he bored? Because unfortunately, our son, he did everything in hyperspeed.
Right.
He did everything in hyperspeed. So there was no, like, right now, it's funny because he is so much in, like, slow turtle mode right now. But back then, and especially elementary school, oh my gosh, he was a lightning bolt, literally. Like, he really thought he was Lightning McQueen. That was his favorite character then, between them and
Dash.
Pokemon. Not Pokemon. But yeah, Dash, and it wasn't Pokemon. Whatever the other little bald people were, Bakugan. Anyway, everything fast. Nothing was slow.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We would sit down in the living room. Even after we finished eating, everybody else want to take a nap. What's he doing? Jumping up and down. Yo, he's like that Instagram, TikTok video. I'm up, I'm down, I'm dead. I'm like that's exactly the way he was like. Then, like, if we had our phones and they had videos like that back then, he would be the poster child for that video.
He didn't really sit down to eat.
He didn't.
Yeah.
So again, and then imagine if he had spaghetti, like, thinking out of his mouth. Like, he was in hyperspeed. Almost like 100% of the time.
Move it. That was one of the songs. That was one of the songs you played back then. He likes to move it.
Yeah, he was. Right now, he doesn't move nothing. But
he did all the moving before. He don't need to move now.
Yeah, because he's tired. Probably caught up to him. It was the cat wheel, voop, 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 like mentality. Yes. But yeah, so I think part of it was, should we have celebrated a little bit more or celebrated differently? But then the other part is like, hey, like, because I was one, because of, again, my background, just push a little more, push a little harder. Like, hey, you know what? Even though, yeah, you got an A, but you can get an A+.
They don't give those out.
I'm just letting you know, like, that was the mentality. Like, yo, you got a 95, you need to get a 99. That was the mentality.
Why not 100? Because 99 and a half won't do. Ha! Hallelujah! Anyway, so you can see his face. He's stuck. So my question for you, Maurice, is what advice do you give to parents that, their children are on the honor roll, their children are doing well, have done well through the academic year? How should they celebrate?
Take them to KB.
KB?
Yeah.
There is no KB
Kitty
Toys.
City.
Kitty City, KB Toys, gone.
Toys R Us.
Gone.
It's in Macy's.
Maybe.
Ollie's.
Where is that at?
I don't know. Big Lots.
They're going bankrupt and closing.
Kmart.
They don't exist anymore. Even though I still get emails from them like they still exist.
Sears. We want to go eat at Ponderosa. You asked me how should we
Yeah, you're saying
celebrate.
you did not celebrate you feel as though you didn't celebrate for their kids. I'm saying you took them to the toy store. And so what would you say to parents now?
I mean, in all honesty, I think
because now you look back and say, oh, I think we should have celebrated more.
I think it should have been celebrating differently.
Okay.
A little bit more of the, if I'm going to sit you down, hey, you did a great job. Mm-hmm. I need you to continue this process on because all it's going to do is, continue to make you better and greater. And your eyes on the prize, right? The end of the school year is coming, right? I don't know how I would have worded it, but just something along those lines. So I think that I should have been more vocal instead of feeding into what our issues were. Because what was I teaching? Like if I'm going to buy you a toy, right? But we also got financial issues. Like what was that?
But I mean, I think
they didn't know that, but I'm just saying.
Right, but some of that is you have understood, and your understanding is some of that may be connected to your childhood and the lack. So you felt as though purchasing a toy, because you didn't have toys or a lot of them or whatever, that was a way of showing that you cared.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So, so I think that's part of the challenge of showing them or celebrating them in their academic and or personal success. What about yourself? What would you suggest?
I mean, I think there were times that we tried to do and celebrate. I do recall like one of them getting Student of the Month, and I met them outside of school with balloons and everything. So I think, there were times that we did it, but not quite sure what I would advise parents today is like you're saying, hey, pay attention to the small things, pay attention to your child.
Right.
Each child is different on what they need. So, one child, yes, it'll be that positive affirmation. You letting them know that you see them, that you care, and that you're there and you're present. Other ones will need a present. Whether, as Maurice said, hey, he got $1 for every A.
Right.
And others, it's just $1. Like, that don't mean nothing to them. So I think it's just you finding out what works well, but most definitely acknowledge that they've done that. That's their effort. It's just like that's their work. That's their job. And it's setting them up for life, whether they are doing their own business, how should they reward themselves, or if they are working in some other type of workplace, but they're working in a company with someone else, how is that reward system? Now again, when they're 6, 7, 8 years old, they may not understand that, but you can begin to learn them and their personality and what they find of value at that age. Is it a toy? Is it going out to eat? Is it just you being there with a great big hug and saying, hey, I'm so proud of you, and high-fiving and, whatever that might be, whatever, build tradition around it, I think, keep that memento going. And I think that's where we kind of lack, like we didn't keep it going all the time. But likewise, if you're in a job, like when you get your report from work, you're expecting something. And when it changes, it's like, well, last time I got, above average rapport, I got a raise.
Right.
This time I did, super exceeds and I didn't get anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're going to be, you'll be upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as parents, you're the supervisors. So think about that, and again, what motivates one employee or one child is not going to motivate the other. I've been there as a supervisor. You tell somebody, hey, you've done a great job. I'm going to give you a raise. And they're like, yeah, okay.
Right.
It's money in, money out. You're going to raise my taxes. You're going to raise my health insurance. You tell me you give me a raise. It ain't affecting me. Where somebody else is like, oh, yay, I got another 50 cents. You know what I mean? And they're excited about it. Where somebody else is like, look, give me another day off. Or,
Yeah, right.
Other people like, and we deal with this at work where people are like, oh, we're having a luncheon. People like, you can say that little penny lunch.
Right.
Give me a raise or whatever.
I already know the bagels are stale.
Exactly.
Like I don't need that.
And I don't want them soggy, whatever you're giving. So it's the same thing, I think, when you're raising a family and you have your kids, you kind of have to kind of understand. And it's hard when you have multiple kids because as we did, you want to do the same thing for each and treat them equally and treat them fairly.
Right.
But hindsight says, nope, that child is vastly different from that child. And it's very apparent now that they're in their 20s how vastly different they are. They're the same in some ways, but vastly different, and we have to approach them differently. I came to that realization just a few years ago because I used to send them group text, and they wouldn't respond. But then when I would send them individual texts, I would get all the responses.
They're like, don't put me together.
Right.
Don't do that.
Don't say, love you guys, have a great day. No response. If I say, love you, have a great day, hope things go well, whatever, that's
more personalized.
It's personalized and it's directed at that person. And so I don't know if they had, a beef with each other and they're like, I don't want to say,
I think so.
Same to you. It's like, I'm doing a silent treatment, so I'm going to be silent to this too. So, yeah. Let us know what you all are doing as you're parenting and, doing this parenting journey together. When your children are doing well, how do you praise them? How do you celebrate their accomplishments, the little people? Because they're big accomplishments to them, and you want to be able to recognize them. I think it's very important that we recognize their accomplishments, whether they just learn how to tie their shoe or they just learn how to go to bed without a nightlight. Whatever it is, we have to be able to celebrate them, do the potty dance, because, that was the other thing, like when we learned how to potty train them. But we have to continue to keep that memento going all the way up, even into their 20s.
Most definitely, y'all. So we thank y'all very much for listening today.
Thank you.
And we'll talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the No Fruit Podcast, where we bring you fruitful conversations, ripened wisdom, and love that's deeply rooted. We hope today's discussion left you feeling uplifted, encouraged, and ready to take on life's journey with purpose. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone who could use a little inspiration in their day. You can catch up on past episodes, send us your thoughts, or learn more about us on social media. Until next time, stay rooted in love, and remember, every seed you plant today shapes the fruit of tomorrow. Take care, and we'll see you next time.
It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/kidsandfamily. Just go to Indeed.com/kidsandfamily right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.